All right, hey internet, welcome back to the Mototopia channel. I hope you are well. I hope you will enjoy this video. It is a fantastic episode. We are on the last day of our Edelweiss Alps Tour. We're in northern Italy in the South Tyrol region. We're going to ride through the area known as Ritten, through the Sarntal Valley. We'll hit some major high Alps passes, the Penserjoch Pass, the Jaufen Pass, and Timmelsjoch Pass. Right after Timmelsjoch Pass, we're going to stop at the top of the mountain motorcycle museum. This was a fantastic museum dedicated to the history of the motorcycle from its inception to today, going through the technology and displaying some amazing examples of motorcycles. Also some sports cars, and the museum itself was just stunning. It was beautiful. And I say was because it is no longer there. The museum tragically caught fire in January of 2021 and burned to the ground. They say it is a total loss. So I hope the owners can rebuild and find a way to repair or replace those motorcycles. We're also going to learn about an Austrian folk hero. His name is Andreas Hofer. Mr. Hofer was born in what is now northern Italy, but it was once a part of Austria, and he became the leader of the Tyrolean rebellion. He fought against Napoleon and his allies, the Bavarians, in an effort to preserve the Tyrol region as part of Austria. So we're going to learn all about him from our tour guide Jürgen, and we're going to visit the inn where he was an innkeeper, and we're going to have lunch there. So it should be an interesting episode. The riding is beautiful. You're going to love some of the scenery and some of the twisty roads. It's just one of the best places in the world to be, but also to ride a motorcycle. So sit back and enjoy the episode, and please remember, it's very important to like the video. Certainly comment on the video. Comments are always appreciated. Subscribe to the channel, and please remember to ring the notification bell so you get notified when new videos are put up on YouTube. All right, so thanks and enjoy. Take care now. Okay, so we're starting out our morning in beautiful northern Italy in the village of Klobenstein am Ritten at the luxurious hotel Bibelman's Post. All of us really enjoyed this property. One thing this town is famous for is the Ritten Arena, where they play ice hockey, speed skating, and tennis, things like that. A lot of Olympic hopefuls trained there. Then we're going to go north, past the Bad Cease, which is hot springs, up into the Vangenvanga Valley, and then through the Sarntal Valley, eventually coming to the Rio Bianco Weissenbach village, where they're really noted for beautiful waterfalls and hiking, and then to the Monte Passo mountain and up to Penserjoch Pass. From there we'll go up to the Vipitino village. We'll go west briefly, and then north again through the Valten Valley, to the Timmelsjoch Pass. And then from Timmelsjoch, we'll take a brief rest and then circle around the mountain to the top of the mountain motorcycle museum. So we're going to be coming into the museum from the east through the toll booth. And I'll just circle the camera around here to show you what the museum looked like before the devastating fire that occurred last month in January 2021. And then from the museum, we're just going to go north into Austria and back to Miming, Austria, where Edelweiss Tour Company is located, and sadly turn in our motorcycles. But before we get to that point in the day, there's a ton of fun to be had riding these roads in northern Italy. So this is Jürgen, one of our 2 tour guides. Every morning the tour guide gives us a little briefing about what our day holds in store for us, where we're going, what we're doing. This is Jürgen's briefing this morning.
We go first over Penserjoch, where we have a photo stop there. Then we go down and going up the Jaufen Pass, which is a really beautiful coffee stop there with a nice overview about this area. Then we go down to have lunch at the famous Sandwirt restaurant. And then later on we continue and going up to Timmelsjoch, which is a private mountain pass, belongs to a rich family, so there we have to pay a toll, and it's 14 euros each bike. And exactly after the toll there is this motor museum where we park, and the motor museum is really famous. They rebuilt it new. It has an area about 3,000 square meter with more than 200 different kind of bikes from 100 different kind of companies, and it shows the development from the beginning of the bikes until right now. It's really impressive and really interesting to be there. The motor museum is 10 euros. 10 euros, yeah. Later on we continue, and then it depends if we have enough time that we can make a loop to Kütai, have a nice coffee, and then go back to the company.
Right now we're in the little village of Klobenstein am Ritten, pulling out of the Hotel Beagleman's Post garage. And you can kind of get a hint of the flavor of this village. Look at the cobblestone streets, and the buildings are just really in beautiful condition. Really a picturesque, quaint little town, and the hotel was fantastic. Alright, so we got finally a break in the traffic. As you can see, it's a beautiful, warm, sunny, early summer day. I mentioned it before in a previous video, but in this part of Italy, we're very close to Austria. It's a region known as the South Tyrol region, or Südtirol. One thing you'll see here, since we are so close to Germany, there are plenty of Porsches. You never know what's around the bend on one of these trips. In this case, 3 more Porsches, but this time classics. Model 365s from the early 1960s. The first one that you see here, the silver one's a convertible, and then 2 hardtop B models made from 1960 to 1963. And those puppies sell for easily $100,000 to $150,000 all day long. So they speak Italian here, and they speak a lot of German. So as we ride through here, you're going to see the names of towns and villages come up, and they'll be in German and Italian. So the little town that we're in now, Klobenstein, is also called Colalbo in Italian. And you may recall this area of Brennan is known for those crazy earth pyramids, but it's also known for this amazing sports arena called the Ritten Arena. It's off here to the left now. You can see it coming up a little bit. And it's known for hockey, and there's a local soccer club or football club. They also are trainers of the greatest speed skaters in the world. I think they've had the World Cup right here at that arena several times. So as we leave town now, we'll head out into the countryside and see just how beautiful the riding is in this part of northern Italy. We'll head first through some rolling hills with beautiful pine trees. Really is just beautiful country. Great views, a lot of nature. And, really enjoyed this ride today. There's a lot of agriculture in the area. We'll see plenty of farms and quite a few big tractors as well. You really have to love how green and lush everything is, these beautiful rolling hills. And of course, the weather was just perfect, spectacular, as good as it gets. And as we come into this next little village, this collection of houses, I guess, I can't help but notice just how well everything is cared for. This beautiful stone wall, the fences, everything is neat, organized, well manicured. It's just really, really impressive. And then as we come around the bend in this road, we're greeted by this beautiful rainbow. Of course they're man-made, but nonetheless it was beautiful to come around and see again another really well manicured lawn here and field with a wall and then these rainbows. Very cool. As we approach the next town, which is called Bunchen, or Ponticino, Italy, I'm reminded of how difficult sometimes the video editing process can be. As part of the process, I typed the name of the town into a Google search engine. But I had the good fortune of typing in Bunchen, Italy, instead of Ponticino, Italy. And what I got were pictures of Tom Brady and his wife Gisele Bündchen's Italian vacation. This was the one that happened during Deflategate a number of years ago. And I was really, really impressed with Tom because, here he is suspended from the NFL, and what does he do? He takes an Italian vacation, he goes boating, and then he goes motorcycling. I mean, this guy's getting cooler and cooler. And what would be a more appropriate venue than a motorcycle travel venue to debate the appropriateness of Gisele's boating attire? I would submit that this is perfectly acceptable, and I'm going to run that notion past my wife here shortly. Feel free to weigh in on that topic in the comments below. So this valley is called the Sarntal Valley, and the local region is called the Sarntal Alps. This little hotel here on the right might make a great base of operations if you want to do some riding in the area, some hiking, or any of those things. The hotel Feldrand is something like $130 a night, but really in a great location for a lot of different activities. Just a beautiful valley to ride through. Okay, so we're beginning our ascent to the Penserjoch Pass. The Penserjoch Pass is considered to be in the South Tyrol region of northern Italy. It connects Bolzano via the Sarntal Valley, where we have just come through, and Stierzing in the Whiptal Valley. It's the most direct road between Innsbruck and Bolzano. We're on the SS 508 highway. And yeah, you'll see the road as we go up here, past the cows, and, literally above the trees. I think our altitude is over 2,200 meters, so not a bad little scoop. Alright, so this first view from the Penserjoch Pass is actually looking north, but on the eastern side of the highway. It runs north-south, but it does take a little bend west here right at the summit. And then this is the view south on the other side of the road. Our descent was a pretty nice ride, very curvy and some interesting rock formations. The road construction must have been quite a bit of work and engineering. Okay, so I had to cut away some footage for the ascent to the Jaufen Pass. Something was wrong with the camera. I don't know if it was loose or if the image stabilization technology wasn't working, but the footage was horrible to watch. So here's just a little bit of it as we approach the pass. What do you think, Kev?
So what?
Anything.
Oh.
The ride.
It's a good friend. Besides, it's not in New Jersey.
No, no Virginia.
Well, Virginia's way better than New Jersey.
It is. So from the top of Jaufen Pass, we took a few photos. These are them. There's a group photo. This is Jim on his BMW GS 1250. Dan on his Africa Twin. And then there's pictures of Paul and Jürgen. And then Jürgen with his Triumph Tiger. And then after the pass, we headed down the mountain and made our way to the famous lunch stop that Jürgen mentioned in his briefing. So I'm going to play a little video within a video just to keep the length short. This is Jürgen describing the Austrian folk hero for whom the lunch restaurant is famous. He was born and raised in this town, and Jürgen tells the story. So here he goes.
So like I told you, we have lunch at the famous restaurant Sandwirt, where our hero was born. His name is Andreas Hofer. He was born in 1779, something like that. But his father died really early, and his stepmother and he didn't get along as well. So with 16 he left and he was traveling around all this area, South Tyrol, because at this time South Tyrol belonged to Austria. And in 1800, something like that, the French Bavarian came and conquered this area, and they made their own rules, and the people were not fine with that. So Andreas Hofer, he knew the area really well, and he was more or less going from village to village and gathered the people together and said, okay, we have to fight them back, we have to do something. And in Innsbruck, south of Innsbruck, the Berg Isel, this is more or less the house mountain. That was in 1809. In this year they were fighting 4 times back the French Bavarians, and it was about 20,000 people against 20,000 people. And there's also a famous museum there with a 360 portrait, shows all this scenery of this battlefield. It's really, really impressive. And the French had problems because the Austrian people, they knew the area really well, so they were always hiding in the mountains, and the French people could not get them, could not find Andreas Hofer. And then they were saying, okay, for 1,500 gulden, like a wanted.
Wanted poster?
Exactly. And then one friend of him, he sold him, and then they find him, and then the story is that they brought him to France, to Paris, and it was the time of Napoleon. And actually, one guy said, okay, this is such a famous guy, we shouldn't kill him. And Napoleon said, yeah, we kill this guy. And so they were staying there with the weapons there, and Andreas Hofer was staying like that, and they shot him, and first shot, he didn't die, yeah, and he was saying like something. What did he say?
Shot? He said,
Holy shit, you shot me.
Yeah, at the end they shot him in the face. That's they're sure that he really dead. Yeah. Something like that, yeah. And yeah, that's why Andreas Hofer is our hero, and there's also at the museum a really, really big monument of him. And yeah.
So his friend sold him out?
friend sold him out. Yeah. It's for just 1,500 gulden, which was the currency.
It's much more than for Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
The stories always have somebody dying. I hate to tell you this.
They're kind of sad stories,
They buried the guy.
Yeah.
So this is the restaurant that Jürgen spoke of. This is A. Hofer's Geburtshaus Sandwert. So the Sandhof in St. Leonhard is where Hofer was born and raised. And we've just got a few photos of the guys from that delicious meal. Kevin, there's Jürgen, and then Barry's. It looks like he's having Wiener Schnitzel. And then there's Jürgen in the birthplace of his hero. And yeah, it was a pretty cool restaurant. I would recommend it. If you're going to be in the area, go check it out, learn some of the local history. So after lunch, we headed up the mountain to Timmelsjoch Pass, and my video doesn't show the pass. It doesn't show where we actually stopped, but we did stop. We took a few photos. None of the ones I took were any good, including these two that I'll show you. One of them was a selfie I didn't know anything about. That's what happens when you ask your best friend to use your own camera to take a picture of you. And the other photo is a picture of me that looks like a cross between the Michelin Tire Man and an astronaut. Okay, so after Timmelsjoch Pass, we wind our way around this mountain to the other side, where the top of the mountain motorcycle museum is. You go through a toll booth, which is actually a restored toll booth and part of the museum. But as Jürgen mentioned, it's a private mountain owned by a family. Good grief. So yeah, check out the museum. I don't have video, but I've got quite a few photos. Can't show them all, but enough to give you a good idea of what the museum's all about. So as you approach the museum from the south, you come to a toll booth, which is part of the museum. It's a restored toll booth. You pay the toll, you get your ticket. We parked out front, and then we looked at this old pickup truck and some other bikes that were stored outside. That's a 1923 Harley Davidson in the bed of the truck. And then there were a few other bikes out front that looked to be in pretty good condition, but were viewed out front. So once inside the museum, the first thing that we saw was this Moto Guzzi pickup truck. And then there were a lot of snow-related machines, including this restored ski lift, which was positioned to go out the back of the building. You can see it there in the right of that corner picture. But the building itself was a work of art. I mean, it was just a beautiful structure. It's amazing to me what can be achieved when you combine good taste with heaps and heaps of money. Look at the museum's restaurant. It's beautiful. The way the motorcycles were displayed, the whole place was a work of art and a worthy dedication to the history of man's greatest invention, the motorcycle. These two brothers, twin brothers actually, Alban and Attila Scheiber, are the founders of the museum, and it was founded only 4 years ago. Obviously, they've been collecting these motorcycles for quite a long time, over 230 of them, and their collection includes Brau Superior, Indian, Harley Davidson, Excelsior-Henderson. They even had a flying Merkel in here that sold at auction for $500,000. There's also some cars, some Porsches, Ferraris, Aston Martins, and the tragic part is it's all gone, it's all lost. Just consider that as you look through these photos of the magnificent machines that were housed here. So what happened that early morning of January 18th, 2021? We don't yet know yet, at least it's not being reported that I could find, but there was one employee in the museum spending the night, and he woke to fire, flames, smoke, etc. Tried to put out the fire with fire extinguishers, but was quickly overcome by the smoke. I think it went up pretty quickly. It was a completely wooden structure for the most part, and yeah, they say it was a total loss. You can see from these photos it was pretty devastating. They did salvage a few bikes that you can see here. I know the pickup truck was salvaged, but it was pretty devastating. What a tragic loss of irreplaceable history. I certainly hope it's not a total loss and some of these motorcycles can be restored and perhaps the museum rebuilt. If there's any good news, it's that there was no loss of life. We didn't run into much traffic on this trip, but we did run into some, I guess you'd call it bovine traffic on our way back up through Austria. But they sure were cute. Returning to Miming, where our adventure began 8 days earlier, was, I guess you would say it was surreal. It was just so hard to believe that this incredible experience was over. It was hard to say goodbye to each other, and it was even hard to say goodbye to my amazing machine that I had put, I don't know, something like 3,000 miles on in those 8 days. But it was really, really an amazing experience, and I can't thank the guys enough that went with me. They say life's a journey, but the people that go with you can make it an adventure. So here are the guys that went. This is Dan and Gene, who earned the nickname MacGyver on this trip. And this is Jim, who was always just so laid back, going about 110 miles an hour. Paul, the inventor from Jersey. And then we've got John and Bob, two other guys also from New Jersey. And Ken, who unretired himself for this trip. And then my two best friends, the best friends a guy could ever have, Kevin and Barry. I've known these guys all my life, and I can't imagine it without them. And then there were the strangers, the folks we met for the first time, our waiters, and then our tour guides, Jürgen and Lucas, who earned the nickname Crash on his Ducati. And there we all are. It was fantastic. Best trip I ever could have imagined. I hope you've enjoyed this series. I've enjoyed creating these videos for everybody as a memento of the trip, and for just other people who might be considering something like this. And just remember, be in love with your life, every minute of it.